The weight of 10 years, a decade woven with shared dreams and whispered promises, settled differently when it was framed by the word marriage. 2 years, a fragile, yet solid structure, built upon that decade, now held the echoing emptiness of a new house. A house, not even a month old, a fresh canvas meant for laughter and warmth, instead stained with the unsettling dissonance of fear. We had sought sanctuary in the quiet, inland embrace of Waycross, Georgia, a town deliberately vague, a shield against the encroaching unease that had already begun to fester. A property, large and promising, a stage set for the future we envisioned, a dog, children, the symphony of a life well lived. The woods, a dark, verdant curtain at the edge of our land, had seemed a charming backdrop, a whisper of nature's wildness, now a source of chilling apprehension. Our routines, meticulously planned, the predictable rhythm of our workdays, were meant to anchor us in normalcy. I, arriving at 5, Cheryl, at 6, a comforting sequence, a gentle cadence. The first 2 nights, a weekend of unpacking, a mundane ritual, were deceptively peaceful. The illusion shattered on Monday night, a mere 20 minutes after the lights dimmed, when the silence was ripped apart by the discordant blare of music. Not the joyful cacophony of a party, but a spectral echo from a bygone era, a staticky, vintage melody that seemed to seep from the very earth. The windows, our flimsy barriers against the unseen, did little to muffle the sound. I opened mine, the cool night air carrying the song with chilling clarity. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf, a tune meant for childhood innocence, now twisted, its cheerful facade peeling away to reveal a haunting undercurrent? The lyrics, once a playful refrain, now pulsed with a sinister rhythm, a dark promise carried on the night breeze. The frantic search for a light switch, the clumsy descent down the unfamiliar stairs, the desperate flicking of switches, a futile attempt to pierce the darkness. The backyard lights, a sudden, blinding illumination, revealed nothing, no human presence, only the amplified music, emanating from the shadowed depths of the woods. The song, a complete, uninterrupted performance, a chilling serenade in the vast silence. A prank, I told myself, a childish attempt to unsettle the newcomers. But the words, even as I spoke them, felt hollow, absurd. Who would orchestrate such a bizarre, unsettling welcome? The following night, the dread returned, a creeping, suffocating anxiety. The music, louder, more insistent, this time a twisted rendition of Tiptoe Through the Tulips, a song that once held a whimsical charm, now a macabre lullaby. Cheryl and I, our eyes locked in a shared terror, knew this was no fleeting prank. A shape, a dark, indistinct form, moved in the grass, a silent sentinel in the night. I ventured out, a foolish bravado masking my fear, a desperate attempt to assert control, to reclaim the sanctity of our home. The object, a relic from another time, an old radio, the source of the unsettling melody. I held it aloft, a defiant gesture, a declaration of ownership. But Cheryl's screams, her frantic cries, shattered the illusion of control. Run. They're behind you. The words, a chilling revelation, turned my blood to ice. 3 figures, stark and silent, stood at the edge of the woods, their presence a palpable threat. I fled, a primal instinct overriding reason, the slamming door a desperate attempt to seal out the encroaching darkness. Cheryl, hysterical, her tears a testament to our shared terror. The police, their arrival a momentary reprieve, a flicker of light in the encroaching darkness. The radio, a macabre artifact, handed over as evidence, a tangible symbol of the unseen threat. The woods, briefly illuminated by their flashlights, remained an enigma, a silent, watchful presence. The vulnerability, the raw, exposed feeling, lingered long after they left. A fragile hope, a desperate prayer that the figures would not return. A recording, a digital shield, a futile attempt to capture the unseen, a desperate measure against the unknown. The transition from the familiar comfort of my parents' home to the stark solitude of my own was a jarring awakening. 28 years, a life lived under the familiar hum of family, now replaced by the unsettling silence of an empty house. July 2022, the month of my liberation, the start of my supposed independence. My father, a chronic insomniac, his nocturnal wanderings a constant, yet comforting, backdrop to my sleep. I, a light sleeper, inherited his restless nights, a cruel irony. The house, a three-story structure, a labyrinth of rooms, a basement, a first floor, an upstairs, each space a potential source of unseen terrors. The first few days, a blur of furniture and unpacking, a semblance of normalcy. A week in, the illusion of home, shattered by the unsettling silence of a Sunday night. Melatonin, sleeping pills, a desperate attempt to silence the restless mind. A deep, dreamless sleep, abruptly broken by the sound of footsteps, a familiar cadence, a ghost of my father's nocturnal wanderings. But the realization, a chilling jolt, that I was alone, that the footsteps were not his, sent a wave of icy terror through my veins. A nervous call, a desperate attempt to pierce the silence, a hollow echo in response. The hallway, illuminated, a stark contrast to the encroaching darkness. The stairs, a descent into the unknown, revealing a tall figure, masked, a silent intruder. No weapon, but the threat was palpable. A scream, a desperate plea for escape, a command laced with fear. The intruder, a phantom, vanished through the front door. The slamming back door, a chilling revelation, a second intruder, unseen, a silent accomplice. My father's voice, a lifeline in the chaos, a voice of reason. The police, their arrival a flurry of questions, a desperate attempt to piece together the fragmented reality. A description, vague and incomplete, a phantom glimpsed in the shadows. The method of entry, a broken window, a chilling reminder of vulnerability. The reality of a home invasion, a distant horror, now a stark, personal violation. The lingering fear, a constant companion, a knife beneath my pillow, a silent guardian against the unseen. The canal, a shimmering ribbon of water, a picturesque backdrop, marred by the unsettling presence of the house across the way. A house, neglected, an eyesore, a silent observer of my life. My neighbors, kind and welcoming, a stark contrast to the unsettling silence emanating from the house across the canal. For 2 weeks, the house remained dark, an empty shell. Then, one night, a single light, a solitary beacon in the darkness. A man, standing in the doorway, watching, his presence a chilling intrusion. Sweatpants, a long-sleeved shirt, grayish hair, a figure caught in the amber glow of the porch light. The next day, the man was there again, his gaze fixed, unwavering, a silent accusation. An unsettling feeling, a sense of being watched, of being judged. My friends, their presence a momentary distraction, a brief respite from the unsettling surveillance. The nights, now filled with a creeping paranoia, the constant awareness of the man's gaze. A game of shadows, a silent duel, his unwavering stare, my desperate attempts to ignore it. The blinds, a barrier against the unseen, a fragile shield against the encroaching unease. The sound of footsteps on the deck, a chilling intrusion into the night's silence. The shattering of glass, a violent punctuation to the creeping dread. A knife, a desperate weapon, a phone, a lifeline to the outside world. The broken window, a gaping wound in the house's facade, a single brick, a silent accusation. The police, their arrival a flurry of questions, a desperate attempt to unravel the mystery. The man across the canal, the prime suspect, a silent, watchful presence. The revelation, a chilling twist, the house foreclosed, empty, a vacant shell. A visit to the house, a desperate attempt to understand, to confront the unseen. The unlocked back door, a chilling invitation. The sound from upstairs, a phantom echo, a silent warning. A hasty retreat, a primal fear, a desperate escape. The repaired window, the installed cameras, a technological barrier against the unseen. The man, a phantom, still lurking in the shadows of my mind. The lingering questions, unanswered, a constant, unsettling hum. The silence, now filled with the echo of unseen eyes, the lingering fear of the unknown.